Hello, and welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Tally. This is episode 33, and I'm your host, Brian Tally. The mission and the goal of this podcast is to bring an engaging conversation that will add value to the lives of everyday people. We will inspire, encourage, educate, and tell the stories of some of America's finest men and women in an effort to motivate you to live your life to its fullest potential. Be sure to follow us on social media and on Spotify. The online information and handles are all located on the scrolling ticker at the bottom portion of your screen. Be sure to like and share the program as well. You can also support the program by going to Anchor FM or Spotify and clicking the support button. Folks, let me tell you about Patriot Home Services, a reliable company who stands by their work and comes in on time and on budget every time. Patriot Home Services is located in the Woodlands, Texas, and offers a wide array of services. Cody Dawson, the owner, is a hands-on contractor who will follow through on your project and will leave you having perhaps the best contracting experience you've ever had. Whether you need home additions, remodels, outdoor patios and kitchens, flooring, painting, and much more, one call does it all. Patriot Home Services, 720-745-2568, or visit them online at patriothomeservicesllc.com. That's patriothomeservicesllc.com. Folks, we have a very special guest joining us on today's program. Jeffrey Alire has been driving monster trucks for 2 years now and has been in the sport for 5 years. He started off driving the heavy hitter truck and now drives for the veteran truck. He is passionate about serving the veteran and military communities. He often participates in birthday truck appearances, fairs, monster truck rallies, veterans events, and much, much more. With that, we are joined by Jeffrey. How are you?
Morning.
How are you doing out there in Colorado, man, this morning?
I'm loving it. How you doing?
All right, man. I'm hanging in there, man. How's the weather out there? Is it starting to feel like fall?
Yes, thankfully. Thankfully, it's got that nice crisp breeze right now in the morning. Hopefully, it stays like that.
Very cool, man. Very cool. So, I want to talk to you a little bit about where you grew up, man, and where you're from.
I'm from Colorado. Currently live in Aurora, Colorado. It's about 100 miles south of here, small town, but it's called the Home of Heroes. We have 4 Medal of Honor recipients in Pueblo. So we have all kinds of things that honor them down there, and that's kind of how this all started for me.
So, how old are you?
I'm 30.
So, how did you get into this business? Did you have some sort of can you talk about the transition from high school and to where you are right now as a monster truck driver?
Absolutely. Yeah, after high school, I went and worked for Budweiser to get my CDL, got my CDL, went to work for the state for a little bit for DOC, decided I didn't really like that too much. And then I didn't have social media. I didn't have it till 2016. The only reason I had it was so I could start messaging drivers that I had heard names at shows, would know of them and message them and ask if I could come help out. At that point, I really didn't even know how to change oil. So it was definitely a shot in the dark, but it worked out.
So now you're this wrench turning, tire changing, monster truck ripping it up kind of guy.
Something like that. I'm getting there. I still have a lot to learn, but I definitely feel like I'm on the right path. Definitely learning every day I can. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know the veteran truck, you have a bunch of seats back there in that truck. Do you guys give people rides in that truck or what?
We do. That's the best thing about this truck is it's a ride truck, and we can hold 11 people in it. You can ride in the front seat. There's 10 in the back, and we have an absolute blast taking people for rides. Kids, adults, they all love it. Veterans, especially. We just did a retreat, and they absolutely had such a blast.
What type of retreats do you do?
So this one was the Peterson Outdoor Ministries Lodge of Hope in Mount Vernon, Missouri, I believe. It's in between.
Oh, wow.
In Aurora, where our show was. They take veterans out there and they hunt with them, they fish with them, they do axe throwing, they do So many things. It's 315 acres of just beautiful, beautiful landscape, all dedicated to them. They house them there. They feed them there. It's really an amazing cause. We were so glad to be a part of it.
And then you've got this massive monster truck showing up. I bet everywhere you go, you are probably the life of the party. Everybody stops what they're doing and they head your way. Probably want to get pictures with you, pictures with the truck. They want to get a tour of it. I mean, explain how that feels when everybody's just going about their business and then everything just changes and everything and all eyes are on you.
It's such a great rewarding moment. It hasn't ever lost its appeal to me. I absolutely love when people truck. I mean, it's a beautiful truck. The wrap, the way that my owner designed it, with the veterans on there, with the red, white, and blue name. I mean, on the rear of it, there's actual names of the Vietnam Memorial on the rear of it. So it's just been meticulously done, and you can tell by the way people react to it. But when people come up to it, I'm just absolutely thrilled that they want to take pictures with it and look at it.
And you know what else is inspiring is that you aren't even a veteran. You are a veteran supporter giving back, and you donate so much of your time and services and resources to the veteran community, to the military community, and to the civilian population as well. You guys are out there raising the awareness that's needed, to protect the vulnerable community, to give back and to, cut down veteran suicide, to offer that, that hope and get out there and show some camaraderie, share that truck with some folks that may need some time to get out of the house and just have a friend and have a conversation and get them, their minds turned on something that is, positive, like this freaking massive monster truck. That right there will put somebody in a very dark place, in a very fun and good place, very, very quickly, just by looking at it at times. I've been to several monster truck rallies, and I tell you what, man, those are freaking awesome. I absolutely love them. And I think I've been, 5 or 6 times, and the kids love it. It's a great family experience. And you guys are all patriots, man. You guys are out there just patriots. I love it.
Yeah, it's what we do at big shows, the arena shows, the stadium shows, is we invite veterans or active duty to come out, walk with the truck, do national anthem, and then I have them sign autographs. First year we did it, these guys were unsure. You're like, oh, you're not drivers. They signed more autographs than I did. Not kidding. They signed the checkered flags. The names of them signing were imprinted on the tires, so they would sign on the tires for signatures those guys signed. And we were onto something special. So when we go to show, the goal is no matter what city, state we go into, I want to be able to have veterans or active duty show up with the truck, sign autographs, walk out with it for anthem, and be honored.
Love it, man. Love it. So what's the biggest stage that you've ever been on as a monster truck driver?
As a driver was the debut in my hometown in Heavy Hitter. That was really awesome. Got a call 2 days prior to that. I had driven the ride truck, but never a race truck. So debuting in the hometown show was awesome. I was so nervous. It gets easier. As far as the veteran goes, probably I have to say up here at the Winter Nationals in Denver, because they bring out all the other trucks. They bring out the other trucks first, and then the lights go off and they start doing it, the presentation of the veterans and talking about our country and the sacrifices everyone's made to make this happen. And then they bring out the veteran truck. And I kid you not, when they bring it out separate like that, the crowd gets so loud I can't even hear the engine on that thing anymore.
Dude, I've got goosebumps. Wow, the Holy Spirit's flowing through me right now, baby. Oh, man. That just, I love it. I could feel that. And folks, you heard it right here from Jeffrey himself. The greatest ride of his life, perhaps the biggest stage, when he was in his hometown on the Heavy Hitter. And guess what? We've got that footage. Jeffrey Alire out cutting it up in his hometown. Explain that ride.
It was absolutely amazing. Nothing could ever beat that feeling ever again, debuting in a hometown like that. Hometown jitters, first-time jitters. You know, when you strap into a full 5-point harness race truck with 1,500, 1,600 horsepower beneath you, and that engine starts and it's got that blower surge, and you're just sitting there waiting for them to call your name, and it's like everything slows down. The first time I got in the air, it's like I felt like I was in the air forever. Like everything just became peaceful and quiet and tranquil, and I recommend it to anyone who wants some throttle therapy. These are the way to go.
Let's go check the truck out.
Sure. So she's a little worse for wear at the moment. She just came back from a show in Aurora, Missouri, and this is what it looks like. We're one of the very few ride trucks that kick up dirt and dust, as you see the Napa sticker there and all the other mud and everything else. There's the big PE ice shocks and sway bars, but yeah, this is the aftermath of a hardcore weekend.
Love it. And then you got the small transport tires on there, and then you got the big tires. How long does it take for that to get swapped out? Just a matter of minutes?
Yeah, it depends on our mood. If we're in a hurry, if it's go time, we can do it in 5 to 10 minutes, actually, from unloading the trailer to completely tired up. So on a normal day, when we're just trying to get ready on a normal day, I'd say 10, 15 minutes.
So I've got a question. You know, I've been to a lot of these monster truck rallies, and it seems as if, like, when they go in for their final, ride or whatever, as they're, going up the points board and the monster truck rallies, they seem to, like, give it their all in that last one, and they will do whatever it takes. And a lot of the times the trucks just blow up. Is that a complete rebuild when that happens? Or is there something that I don't know about? Because, I mean, it seems like they drive these things and, until they will not go anymore, they'll smoke, they'll fire, and they pretty much destroy them on their final rides. And it's like, how much money is really invested into these trucks to get these things back up on the road, or back up on the dirt, if you will?
So it depends. A lot of my buddies that send their trucks, Tyler and Travis Groff, they've been helping me so much. They're twin brothers that have been driving for about 15 years, and they're usually the show closers, meaning that when you close the show, go out and give it your all. I've seen them break everything from axles to transmissions to engines, be on fire. Yeah. The transmission fire is the worst because it's right underneath the seat, so it goes right up into the cab. So it's super, super scary. Engines are anywhere between $40,000 to $60,000. Axles are anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000. Shocks are $2,000 to $4,000. So it adds up quick depending on how bad the situation is. Yeah, when you watch someone like Gravedigger, he's doing about $10,000 to $20,000 worth of damage a weekend if he's lucky.
So, for like a Gravedigger, is there, I know like MLB athletes, NFL athletes, these guys get paid $20, $30 million a year. And I know monster truck drivers aren't getting paid $20, $30 million a year. How, like, the amount of money that goes into these trucks, how can you guys stay on budget and still get out there and put out a good product? Is it through fundraising or through selling merchandise, or do you guys actually do get paid a lot of money when you get out to these bigger events?
The trucks can pay for themselves. The ride truck does good when you're not breaking it. Same with the race truck. They get paid pretty well. We'll be the first to say at our team is there's no money in monster trucks. We do this because we're passionate about it, and definitely for the mission veterans. We try to depend on the trucks and the merchandise sales, but really it comes down to this is my owner's passion and his companies fund it. So,
well, I mean, that's awesome right there alone. I'm sure there's a lot of guys that would want to drive that for free. Because I tell you what, there's not too many guys that can cut it up in one of those monster trucks and get high in the air and the adrenaline pumping and just knowing that you've got, I don't know how many horses underneath you that's just launching that truck in the air. Now, when you're in the truck, when you're going up on on one of those big, jump ramp hills, Does it throw off your depth perception a little bit? Because you can't really see when you're up so high. How do you measure that?
It's hard. I'm still learning it myself. It's you're strapped in. You know, you have a Hans device, so your head is stuck like this. So you're just looking straight out. And those trucks, you know, they're 12, 13 feet in the air. And you're strapped in the middle. So once you get close to a ramp, you can no longer see it. It's just because you're accelerating. So when you're accelerating, the truck goes back like this. The shocks come up. So you're looking through the floorboards, which are Lexan. And you're just trying to hope that you're in the middle. It gets easier with time, but it's a lot harder than it looks. The visibility is really low. And right now, the way the industry is everyone's building ramps so massive that they're bigger than the trucks. It's crazy to be running up to a van stack or a bus stack or even a dirt stack that's taller than your vehicle. You're like, oh man, this is going to throw me for a ride. Like, I get intimidated still because they're humongous. They don't look like it on TV, but when it's bigger than the truck, you're like, wow, this is going to be crazy. So you have to hit it hard. If you don't hit it hard, you nosedive, and then you're not landing on the suspension, you're landing on the front tires, you break a lot of stuff, you get this whiplash effect on your neck. So you have to keep it floored. That's the best advice I have for someone is keep it floored.
That's incredible with the amount of they're trying to bring more and more entertainment into this, more and more dollars, more and more people watching. Oh shit, is he gonna crash? You know, that's the excitement. That's why people watch NASCAR.
Right.
You know, if you're not rubbing, you're not racing, right? So as a monster truck driver, if you're constantly breaking stuff, the owner's probably going to fire you, right?
Yeah, that's where we're at. He's about there with me now about building this new truck. We're building a race truck to debut to go compete on the big circuits. So we have a very tight deadline to that. We plan on debuting November 18th and 19th here in Denver at the Coliseum. We'll have both trucks there as the plan. But yes, breakage is not fun. I can't even imagine. You know, I feel for him. It's all in good fun. I'm joking. I mean, if he hasn't got rid of me by now, I don't think he's going to. But I can imagine it's heavy on his pocketbook because these things are just so massive and weigh so much and take such abuse and a beating that it's always something. This one here, it's little stuff. It's electrical stuff. You know, we had the radiator fan went out in this weekend, or the wire melted. So you're trying to hot wire it at the last minute and get back out there while everything's warm. But the other drivers are great about help. We're all a family. On the track, it's all competition. It's all, you know, blood and guts. But in the back, it's all family. We all help each other. I had 4 other teams help me this week and get my truck back together.
Absolutely. You know, I know how that racing community is. You know, anything that has to do with motors, you know, is a big family. It's a small family, you know, too, because you guys all are connected. And I wasn't kicking you for breaking stuff. I was just talking as a whole, because, you know, these trucks, I mean, like I said, man, they get put through a lot of stress. There's a ton of breakage in there. And like I said, man, I can't imagine, you know, going through some of those bills to, you know, to fix a lot of that stuff. But obviously, if you're going to have a monster truck, you're going to have your own crew. You're going to have your own pit crew. You're going to have your own mechanics. You're probably going to get parts for a hell of a lot cheaper than what anybody else could to keep those trucks running. So do you have any special moments or memories where you have worked with veterans that really has stuck with you a little bit?
Absolutely. The best one is the very first show I ever did with this truck. So at that time, I was freelancing different trucks I was working for. Overkill Evolution at that time. I did a show with King Crunch just a week before that. These guys, my buddy was running this truck at the time, and he helped. They needed the CDL driver to drive the rig. So I fit that bill. We got to a show. It was and my boss, she always makes fun of me because I mess it up every time what it was. Basically, it was a military 5K. It was a run, right? And they were all in their gear, right, to do this 5K. I mean, completely decked out, carrying all the heavy baggage and running. And I was like, wow, this is intense. You know, this is crazy. And you know, this is my first time being around it. As the event ended and we were tiring down, these 5 Marines just came through the finish line. And they're like, we need to help you push these tires. You know, thank you so much for being here. I'm like, no, thank you for what you do. Don't worry about us. They're bleeding through their boots, and we're pushing these massive 66-inch tires on the trailer for me before I could even stop them. It was such a surreal moment of how much they explained this means to them. It gives them a platform, but really it was such an intense moment for me to experience that and to see and to see that camaraderie and all that work ethic. It was nuts. It still blows my mind today, and it's been like that ever since. Everywhere we go, the veterans come out in waves and are so supportive and just absolutely love this thing.
Sounds like true Marines, mission oriented and always wanting to help somebody else get their job done. We get it done. We support the veteran truck. Jeffrey, how can people support you? How can people support the veteran truck? How do you have rallies coming up?
Best way to support us is by coming to shows, riding on the truck, watching the race truck. You can always buy merchandise at the show. We donate 15% of everything we make, whether it's t-shirt sales, monster truck sales, rides. We rotate them every quarter, and all that can be found on the website. It's all transparent at www.theveterantruck.com. Right now is going to the Gary Sinise Foundation and Wounded Warriors Project. So we give back as is. So if you want to support that mission, then go to our website, buy a t-shirt, come to a show, take a ride in the truck. That's the best thing you can do for us. Follow us on social media, and just like and share our stuff means a lot too.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. You and I have been friends for quite some time. I see the things you do out there in the community. I see the birthday parties that you go to put these big smiles on these children's faces with the veteran truck. What you do is important, and it matters. And, with that, I'd like to thank you for joining us on today's program. I think this was a lot of fun. And, I think we're going to get a lot of folks picking up that phone and calling the veteran truck for their next event. Maybe get you, some other phone calls to attend some more rallies, some more veterans events. I know a lot of veterans that are going to be having a lot of events. And what better way to have the veteran truck show up, park that sucker, and give some people rides and tours of it? I mean, that's a win-win situation right there. Get out and do some networking and meet some people and rubbing elbows with Americans, true heroes.
Yes, that's all we want. All we want is to support them and give back. They've sacrificed everything for us, allow us to have such freedoms, to be able to go do a monster truck show, to attend anything that we do in this country. We owe it all to them. To be a small part of that and to be able to honor them and give back just a little bit it means everything.
Well, that is honorable. And please also share this message with your owner. Thank you, sir. You are honorable, and you're doing the honorable thing. We sincerely appreciate everything you do in the veteran community. Your service, sacrifice, and dedication is truly commendable. Until next time, for Tuesdays with Tally, this is Brian Tally. Good night, Semper Fi, and God bless.